This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
WBSM presents The Tim Weisberg Show. Streaming live on WBSM.com and the WBSM app. Call 508-996-0500. Send us app chat messages and open line voicemails using the WBSM app. Now, The Tim Weisberg Show.
Good morning. Welcome into the program. Happy Wednesday to you. Welcome to May. It's a new month, although it's a pretty similar start to the day like we had yesterday. It's a little overcast and a little wet and damp. Was it yesterday? I don't know. We've had a few mornings that started like this, but then cleared up later in the day, and this will be another one. As I said, I said yesterday, maybe we had gotten over the hump, and we will no longer have to wake up and wear a jacket out of the house and then have to carry it back into the house. But here we are with another day like that today. So if you are heading out, it's about 48 degrees. It's not too cold, but it's damp. So keep that in mind. Well, there's a lot that we can discuss this morning, and we will. We'll take your phone calls too at 508-996-0500. We will take your app chat messages and your open line voicemails on the WBSM app. And we're going to get into a lot of different topics. But before we do that, I want to let you know about a new contest that we have at WBSM.com and on the WBSM app. Your chance to show off. If you are a mom and your kids are the spitting image of you, or maybe you're a kid and you look just like your mom and you want to win her a prize for Mother's Day, we have a mother-daughter lookalike contest right now. If you go to WBSM.com, you'll look at the top. You'll see it right there, mother-daughter lookalike. Click on that. Or you can go on the app and find the story there. But there's a form there to submit all of your information and your photo to send that over to us. And then what we're going to do is we're going to collect them all over the course of this week, and then take the 100 best, put them out there for you to vote on, and then we'll announce the winner the day after Mother's Day. So what are you competing for? What is the prize? Oh, you're going to want to win this prize. The lookalikes with the most votes will get a $1,000 Cardi's Furniture and Mattresses gift card, courtesy of Nairobi. They will also get 2 $125 gift cards to Sisters Salon and Skincare in Mattapoisett, along with 2 $50 gift baskets packed with skin products, 2 $75 Alianza restaurant gift cards, treats from the Acai Spot in New Bedford, Mommy and Me bracelets from Corey Jewelers, and gift cards to Mi Antojo Mexican Restaurant. So that is a huge prize package. Just for being born or having a kid and having them look like you. The hard work is already done. You've already given birth or been birthed to. Now comes the fun. So you can submit those entries at WBSM.com and on the WBSM app. And again, we'll have the 100 best ones out there for you to vote on. And when you vote, if you enter, I'm just going to tell you, obviously, you're going to want to share that around and try to get the people that know you, that have always told you, oh my God, you two look so much alike. You're going to want to get them to vote for you. And the first time we did this contest a couple of years ago, and I only say this because I remember that contest because I was involved in putting it all together. I was the one posting up all the photos and posting up the stories and all that. We make Phil Devitt do that now. But when I was doing all that, I remember the mother-daughter, and when I saw that photo come in, I said, oh my gosh, this has to be the winner. This has to be the one that everybody votes for. And sure enough, it was. And that's no slight on the winners that we chose after that. They don't stand out in my mind as much. But the contest is always very popular, so get your photos in. And like I said, we will pick the 100 best and have you vote on them. So you will vote on who is the best lookalikes for mother and daughter on the South Coast. Again, all the details are at WBSM.com and on the WBSM app. And that's also your reminder, guys, to know that, yes, Mother's Day is right around the corner. It is May 1st. He says as he's opening up his calendar to check the exact date of Mother's Day, because I know it's the second Sunday, right? It's the 12th. Mother's Day is the 12th, so it's coming up quickly. If you haven't already picked out that gift for your mom or your wife, you might want to start shopping now. Because even if you enter this contest and think, well, they'll win, that'll be the gift, right? Now, we're not selecting the winner till after Mother's Day. So you're still going to need to get a gift. For a number of years, I got into getting my mom those willow tree angels. You know, those like faceless figurines. And she really liked them. She bought a shelf to put them all on. And, you know, she looked forward to her birthday, Mother's Day, me bringing her over a willow tree angel. But then I just stopped doing it because I couldn't remember which one she had and which one she didn't have. There was the time when I was in the store and I texted her a photo and I was like, do you have this one already? And that's when I was like, you know what? I should probably stop doing this. So I told her, I said, it's just a little bit too difficult. If you see one that you want, let me know. But I can't keep track. I need to have like a little checklist that I kept on my phone, but I wasn't that forward thinking. So there's a lot going on here locally. There's a story that I want to direct your attention to that Ariel wrote yesterday. We have it on the website and on the app. Yesterday was the ribbon cutting for a new athletic field at New Bedford High. They got a new turf field that will be used for the field hockey and lacrosse teams. Now, granted, it's been a few years since I've covered high school sports. When I parted ways with the Standard Times in, I think, early 2021, I stopped paying attention for the most part. If a team makes it to the Super Bowl or the state championship or something, sure, I'll pay attention. But for the most part, the stuff going on in season, I'm not as wrapped up in as I used to be when I would be in the Standard Times every couple of nights taking phone calls from the coaches with the scores of every game. There was a time when I probably knew the records of many of those teams. But from what I recall, New Bedford field hockey and both the boys and girls lacrosse teams were doing okay. They were doing well. I don't know if that's still the situation now, 3 years later. But they have new fields, and it's part of an overall process of replacing the athletic fields, but also helping with some of the contamination issues from that site. And this is a step forward in that as well. So this is going to be huge for the athletes. Now, some people will hear the word turf field and think, oh, great, that's going to lead to all kinds of injuries for the kids. Now, you hear the problem, for years you heard about turf toe, an injury that would happen from playing on artificial turf. I just want to let you know that that's not the case anymore. That the advancements in artificial turf fields have significantly reduced the risk of injury. These are more like a natural turf. They feel more like natural grass. For example, a lot of people don't know the Patriots play on artificial turf. Looks like grass, right? Feels like grass to the players, but it's artificial. Because of the drainage system that they've put in. That field has, what was at the time, a state-of-the-art drainage system so that you don't get the swampy, muddy field when there's rain. And it's become more affordable for high schools to use similar type materials. So this isn't that fake grass, green turf that, felt like, those dartboards you buy kids where you hang them on the wall and it has a plastic dart that they throw and the plastic ball at the end of it just sticks between the plastic sticks that are on the dartboard. That's what those old turf fields were basically made of or felt like. But now it's a lot more natural. So this is going to be big for those teams and big for the overall athletic use of New Bedford High. The other thing that I find fascinating about it, though, is, we're hearing reports that, well, we might have to replace the high school, but here's a brand new field. And here's another brand new field after we built another brand new field after another it just makes me think the probability of there being a new high school is a long way off. 508-996-0500. I saw people complaining. Of course, this is what tax dollars are going to. Building a new field when the old field was fine. I mean, they get monies for this. Then I saw folks from the Tri-Town area saying, well, New Bedford gets new fields. We didn't get new fields. Well, but you can blame your voters for that. And just because one town didn't vote to do it doesn't mean another town shouldn't be able to do it. But you can see the photos and read more about that at WBSM.com and on the WBSM app. And I also have a little story there. Just something that I thought you might find interesting. Something that I knew about and I guess assumed others knew about. But every once in a while, I'll have a thought come to my mind that I'll say, you know what? I bet you there are people that don't know about that. And so this article is about William Mumler, who was a Boston photographer in the 1860s. He was actually a jewelry engraver by trade. But photography was a relatively new field, and he was an amateur photographer, and he took a self-portrait of himself. And when he looked at the self-portrait, there was a figure that appeared in the photo, and he said, oh my gosh, that's my cousin who died 12 years ago. Now, whether or not that's true, I don't know. But it kicked off this craze of spirit photography, where Mumler had a portrait studio in Boston where people would come and pay 5 times the going rate for a portrait in the hopes that a ghost would appear in the picture with them. And probably the most famous picture Mumler ever took, which you can see in the story, was of Mary Todd Lincoln. He claimed he didn't know that it was her when she sat down. She did use an alias. Not because she was trying to fool the spirit photographer, but because she always used an alias when she was out in public. And most people probably hadn't seen a photo of Mary Todd Lincoln because they couldn't put photos in newspapers yet. It was actually Mumler who later invented the process that allowed for that to happen. People would have seen sketches of her. But she came in, sat down, Mumler took the photo, and the supposed spirit of Abraham Lincoln appeared in the photo standing behind her. And you can see that photo, make up your own mind, but most people think that Mumler was a fraud. He did go on trial prior to that for fraud. Charges brought up by none other than P.T. Barnum. But Mumler was acquitted because the judge said that they couldn't prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he was intentionally faking these photos. But a lot of people today who know more about photography, and now that we understand more about it, think it was some kind of double exposure trick. But still looks a lot like Abraham Lincoln in that photo. So you can read more about that and see examples of some of Mumler's spirit photos at WBSM.com and on the WBSM app. Just an interesting little history lesson for you. Little quirk of Boston history. And now there's some debate about where Mumler took these photos. A lot of people point to this certain address on Washington Avenue because that's where his wife, who was also a medium, where she operated out of. But I guess that was their home. It's like a brownstone building, and I think that was where they lived and where she worked out of their home. Others feel that his photography studio is a little bit down the road. And when you take a tour of Boston, the ghost tour that they do, they take you to where they believe that his studio was, which is now Falafel King. So the place where this bit of paranormal history took place now serves pretty darn good falafel. 508-996-0500. Going to take a break, and we will be back in a few moments.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Oh, man. Hearing this song makes me miss my last Trans Am because I had one CD that was stuck in the CD player, and it was the best of Van Halen. And I used to drive around blasting that, have the T-tops out, even in December. I'm playing that song and all the Van Halen songs as loud as that nice AC Delco system would go. I want to get another Trans Am so bad. They're just, the ones that are worth buying are so expensive. You either get one for $800 that I'll never be able to fix, or you pay $20,000 for one. So, because I only want the 80s F body style. Anyway, speaking of a man who always finishes what he starts, although I don't know if you can't play guitar like Eddie Van Halen, can you, Phil?
No, air guitar, though. I'm mean at air guitar.
Well, there you go. So we'll turn things over now to Phil Devitt in the WBSM newsroom.
Well, Columbia is cleared, but protesters could face charges. Florida's 6-week abortion ban is official, and hotel workers push for better pay.
From the WBSM newsroom, this is WBSM News.
Dozens of people could face charges after police cleared the Columbia University grounds of protesters and their encampment. Michael Kastner with more.
The university asked the NYPD to clear Hamilton Hall and the ongoing encampment Tuesday night, saying such a move was being done for the safety of all students. University officials said they had no choice after learning that demonstrators had moved in to occupy Hamilton Hall and blockade doors. Police say most of those arrested were not students and were what officers call professional protesters. Demonstrations have been taking place on campus for days, with protesters demanding the university divest itself from Israel. I'm Michael Kastner.
A strict abortion law goes into effect in Florida today. The law will drop the state's current 15-week ban to a 6-week ban across the state, potentially impacting thousands. Proponent Katie Daniel with Pro-Life America says this will save countless lives.
This will have the potential to save as many as 50,000 unborn lives here in the state of Florida in just the first year.
But Democratic Congresswoman Frederica Wilson calls the ban too extreme and dangerous.
So even a 6-week abortion ban is like a total ban because so many people don't even know they're pregnant.
Florida has seen over 1,300 people this year travel into the state for an abortion. According to data from the state health agency, Vice President Kamala Harris is expected to promote reproductive rights in Florida today. Disgraced movie producer Harvey Weinstein is expected in court today in Manhattan ahead of a possible new trial. The rearrangement is nearly a week after the New York Court of Appeals overturned his 2020 sex crimes conviction, ruling Weinstein didn't receive a fair trial. Former President Trump is covering a wide range of topics, including a possible second term. In his recent interview with Time magazine, Trump said there was no choice but for mass deportations, saying he'd pursue building migrant detention camps and use the U.S. military at the border. NBC's Gabe Gutierrez with more.
When asked whether he'd ignore a U.S. law that prevents deploying troops against civilians, the former president responded, well, these aren't civilians. These are people that aren't legally in our country.
In the interview published Tuesday, Trump outlined a more aggressive approach for his vision of a second term, including on abortion and immigration. He said a federal abortion ban wasn't needed, but is okay with strict rules at the state level. He didn't comment on the legal battle over the abortion pill myth of Pristone. National polls have continued to be close in regards to a potential rematch between Trump and President Biden in November. The Biden administration plans to reclassify marijuana, easing restrictions nationwide. The interim rule soon would reclassify the drug to a less stringent category that includes Tylenol and steroids. That'll be the first time since the Controlled Substances Act was enacted more than 50 years ago. During his State of the Union address, Biden said, quote, "No one should be jailed for using or possessing marijuana." And thousands of hotel workers are planning May Day rallies in Boston and at least 17 other cities across the U.S. and Canada, looking for better pay and working conditions. The unionized workers are in talks with Marriott International, Hilton Worldwide, and Hyatt Hotels for new contracts for the first time since the COVID-19 pandemic. According to union leaders, hotel staffing is down since 2019, while revenue is up to record levels.
WBSM Sports.
The Red Sox beat the San Francisco Giants 4-0. They're back at it again at Fenway tonight, 7:10. The Bruins heading up to Toronto after falling to the Maple Leafs 2-1 in overtime of Game 5 at TD Garden. Game 6 tomorrow night. And the Celtics welcome the Miami Heat to TD Garden tonight at 7:30 for Game 5.
Now your ABC 6 South Coast forecast.
Cloudy skies out there with showers tapering off. Temperature in the upper 40s as we head into the afternoon. We could be enjoying some sunshine. Temperature will be climbing into the upper 50s. Northeasterly breeze at around 10 miles per hour, keeping it cool right along the immediate coastline. For tomorrow, slight chance for showers early on in the morning, low 60s. Be sure to watch ABC6 for my full 7-day forecast. From the ABC6 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Cecil del Carmen on New Bedford's News Talk Station, 1420 WBSM.
I'm Phil Devitt for WBSM News. Stay up to date with New Bedford's News Talk Station, WBSM, and get all of our content and breaking news alerts with the WBSM app.
If you could only see the way she loves me, then maybe you would understand why I feel this way about our love and what I must do. If you could only see how blue her eyes can be when she says she loves me. Well, you got your reasons, and you've got your lies, and you've got your manipulations. They cut me down to size.
And when 90s kids got a guitar, that was one of the first songs that they learned to play. If you got an acoustic guitar in the 90s, depending on when in the 90s, obviously, that was more late 90s. I think I'm going to say that Tonic came out in 97. But let's see, does it say here on this YouTube video when that might have been? It doesn't. I can look it up later. But anyway, I pride myself on getting years right just out of memory. But anyway, you got a guitar, you started playing an acoustic guitar, you're like, oh, I'm going to learn the intro to If You Could Only See by Tonic. And then you'd learn Wonderwall. Every kid with a guitar learned Smells Like Teen Spirit. I didn't get a guitar until I was in my 30s, and I didn't learn any of those songs. I didn't learn anything because I didn't practice. 2 years of lessons, never practiced, can't play a single chord now. But I've got the guitar in my office because, you never know when the urge is going to hit. I actually brought it in so that Gazelle could play it for me. He knows how to play. 508-996-0500. Good morning. You're on WBSM.
What's going on, Tim?
How you doing?
Not bad. I saw the article that I believe it was you who wrote it regarding the carnival coming to Dartmouth.
Mm-hmm.
I saw some of the comments, and one individual lady in the comment section under your thread, she was talking about how she works in the mall, right? And whenever this carnival comes to town, the mall is like completely wrecked. You got kids that are going into the bathroom, stuff in the toilets. They go into Macy's. They leave food all over the place. They leave they steal a whole bunch of stuff. Shoplifting goes up. So this is obviously a significant issue with just kids coming there and they're unsupervised.
Well, I would say so. Again, you got to take it with a grain of salt when somebody comments on Facebook because you don't know that this person actually works at the mall. They could be making this up. Even if they do work at the mall, this might not be true. My guess would be that if that was happening every time that the carnival came to the Dartmouth Mall wouldn't have the carnival anymore.
Well, I mean, it depends. It really actually depends on how much the carnival pays the mall. Is it really... Is it that much of a significant bump in revenue for them to kind of turn a blind eye to any issues that they have? Like, replacing a toilet because they clog it is significantly cheaper than, $20,000 that they pay to rent the place in, over 2 weekends.
And also, wouldn't this only happen maybe one time before the next time the carnival comes, you would have beefed up security?
What was that?
Wouldn't you just beef up security after it happened the first time so that it didn't happen a second time?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the Dartmouth police should hire more details to keep that. They should actually have more details in the mall also. So they should have more details in the mall and the carnival in order to, keep the small population of troublemakers at bay. Because if the cops are just in the carnival, the troublemakers are just going to go inside and cause problems. So increase your details and again, have the carnival pay for it. Do the carnival, your details inside the mall and outside the mall to make sure that the really bad kids are kept at bay. But the thing that we talked about the other day in regards to like parents supervising and how they're going to enforce it, I don't think you can. I don't think that the carnival is going to have the manpower to do that. You're going to have, they only have so many employees at the carnival, and most of them are working the booths and working the rides. They're not just walking around keeping an eye on your kid. So the They're not going to have the manpower. Dartmouth Police already said they're not going to watch their kid because they shouldn't have to watch their kid. They shouldn't be babysitters. So the rule that the carnival has is just a facade to make you feel better, because they're going to check you in at the door. They're going to say, is this your parent? The parent's going to go, yep. Or is this your guardian? Yep. And you're never going to hear from them again. The parent or the guardian is going to slip out, in 10 minutes out the door. And you're not going to be able to stop them because they're just like, well, I came here by myself. How are you going to, you can't enforce it. It's just, it's a facade by the carnival to make you feel good.
I will say that if they're having problems with teenagers going in and causing problems in the mall, and they are going to turn teenagers away at the gate that show up without a parent, where are those teenagers going to go when they get turned away at the gate? They're going to go walk into the mall. And are they going to cause more problems if they go in there? So
they most likely will, and it's not most kids. 95% of the kids that go there and the teenagers that go there are going there to literally hang out with their friends on a Friday night, like me and you used to do, at the Dartmouth Mall back in 93. 90, even more than that, probably 97%. But 3% of 10,000 people is a hell of a lot of people. And when that 3% causes a problem, it infects the entire situation, and it makes it worse for everybody.
I will say this, going back to your point about, it being a facade. I have been kind of sneaking around a little bit on social media where people were commenting about the Kingston Carnival last weekend, which is the first place they had this policy in effect, trying to find out, did anybody send their kids or did anybody's kids get turned away? And so far I haven't heard from anybody that said that happened. So, but then again, I also haven't heard from anybody that said that the kids were able to get in. Just nobody's responded to the question.
Right. Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's a lot of kids in a confined situation, a confined area. It's going to be really tough to control, unfortunately. And I don't know what it is with the kids. Like, why go in and cause issues? Like, just go in and have a good time. I don't remember this really happening. I don't want to sound like an old guy, but back in my day, it wasn't really this much of an issue. But today, it's like the kids are ridiculous. And I think a lot of it's driven by, social media and the need to go viral on a stupid video that they create.
Well, I think saying you can't do something is like putting out a challenge to some kids.
Yeah, that's true, too, 100%. And that hasn't changed since we were kids.
No, that's always been the case.
Yeah, because I know that was the case specifically with me. Anybody told me, no, you can't do that, I'm probably going to try to do that.
But there's a difference between defying authority and being disruptive and destructive.
Right, exactly. Like, you can defy authority but not be destructive to somebody else's property. That's something I never did. A security guard told me don't go over there. I probably would have went over there, but I ain't going to destroy somebody else's property just because I respected somebody else's property.
Right.
But maybe in today's day and age, maybe the kids don't respect other people's property as much. I don't know.
Well, I can tell you this. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, I don't see it in my kids' circle of friends because they're all like respectful kids. But I don't know, maybe outside of that circle, there's a lot more kids that just don't respect other people's property.
I was going to say, I can tell you that there's always been kids that are that way throughout history. It's just the difference is now because of the media and because of social media, those stories get out there more. And those stories become something more. So I'm sure there's been a fight at carnivals going back to the 1800s.
Of course.
But the difference with this one is that because people were on social media saying, oh my God, somebody just fired a gun at the carnival, and then which turned out not to be true. They found no evidence of any shots being fired, but that was still the story that got out there, and that's what made it a bigger deal. So it's it's just generally it's a more technological version of the telephone game where somebody just says something and somebody has to add something else to make it more salacious, and then that ends up ruining it for everybody.
Yeah. So with social media, I think what happens is it becomes a challenge in itself. So it becomes viral, and the challenge is always to get more viral than the last guy, your friend, or your, not even your friend, just another kid. You need to be viral. There's no point, and this is the way the kids look at it, there's no point in doing something if it's not caught on camera. There's no point in doing something if you can't go viral. Then it really doesn't. If it's not on Facebook, it didn't happen. And with kids today, it's If it's not on TikTok, it didn't happen on Snapchat. Snapchat's one of the worst ones because they just share it amongst their friends. And, going forward, I don't know how you fix it. I really don't know how you kind of negate this entire situation.
Well, we'll see how they handle it. The carnival's going to open tomorrow. I am working on a somewhat more positive story about the carnival, but I'll keep that under wraps for now.
Sure. Now, just really quick on the gunshot case. Is that the one that you were talking about from years ago in Dartmouth? That gunshot at the carnival?
No.
There was a shooting wasn't there a shooting at the carnival years ago?
2 years ago, there was an exchange of gunfire in the parking lot around the carnival, which, that's a different situation. I'm talking about in Weymouth 2 weeks ago, they had the carnival there, Fiesta shows. That's where this policy came about, was because some kids from Brockton came and caused some problems, and people were on social media saying that people had fired guns. But then when the police showed up and interviewed people and searched around, there was no evidence that there had been any gunshots and no reports from people on the scene.
Oh, all right, I got you. I thought maybe you were referring to
no. In that case in Dartmouth, there was definitely gunfire that happened in that situation.
Amazing. All right, dude.
All right. Have a good day.
Later. Yeah, you too. Later.
And by the way, that story that I said that I'm working on, a positive story about the Dartmouth Carnival, it's not that big of a deal, but it's pretty awesome for people that are going to the carnival. People that look forward to, a certain aspect of the carnival that they weren't able to partake in last year because they didn't offer it. So there's your hint. All right, 508-996-0500. We'll be right back.
Don't know if I've ever been good enough. I'm a little bit rusty and I think my head is caving in. And I don't know if I've ever been really loved by a hand that's touched me, and I feel like something's gonna give. And I'm a little bit angry. Well, this ain't over. No, not here. Not while I still need you around. You don't hold me, will not change it. Yeah, we just might feel good. I wanna push you around. Well, I will. I wanna push you down. Well, I will.
And welcome back in. That goes out to Participation Trophy wife in New Bedford, who says Push by Matchbox 20 was also a great guitar intro from that time period. Yeah, and I didn't learn how to play that one either. Although I will admit, I was not a Matchbox 20 fan when they first came out. I used to mock them. I used to think that they were a little bit cheesy and schmaltzy. I thought that they were disingenuous. And of course, this all proved to be wrong later on. They were one of those bands that, I used to mock Rob Thomas. Be like, oh, Captain Intensity over here. Because his acting in the videos is a little bit much. But then you get to know more about them and you realize, it's kind of tongue-in-cheek, some of it. And I came to appreciate them later on. That happened with a lot of late 90s bands where I was kind of against them at first, and then they changed my mind later on. Third Eye Blind, one of those bands. And by the way, Third Eye Blind is one of those bands we will have tickets for later on this summer. So you're going to want to stay tuned for all of that. And if you would like to sponsor my ticket window, if your business would like to sponsor my ticket window, we do have that availability. So reach out to me, tim@wbsm.com, if that's something you'd be interested in. Because we're going to be talking a lot about tickets in the coming weeks. And I'm just going to keep teasing it until then, too. 508-996-0500. I've got one more break I've got to take this hour, so let me get that done right now.
Sometimes I feel like I don't have a partner. Sometimes I feel like my only friend is the city I live in, the city of angel. Lonely as I am, together we cry.
And that goes out to Patty in Tiverton, who says, Under the Bridge by Red Hot Chili Peppers. That was the guitar intro I obsessed over playing correctly back in the 90s. So I don't think I could have played any John Frusciante riffs like that, but
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Granger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgranger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.